Welcome back, and glad to have you with me. This is Miss Darling in the studio, and today we're going to do just a quick flip through of a journal. I made this a little while ago. I don't remember everything that I do, so I will be probably just as surprised going through this now as you will be. Anyway, this journal is featuring gardens and flowers and all those great God-given beauty that we enjoy throughout the world. And so the cover I made from a napkin, and it's a beautiful napkin of a garden scene with this I don't know, what do you call it? Anyway, this passageway through to a space beyond, and then some flowers in the foreground. And then I have glued some coffee dyed lace there, added the number 3, and then this is how I covered the back and the spine. The signatures were sewed into it, and that's why I have a piece of fabric on the top to hide the sewing that was done in the completion of the book. So here is the tassel I made. I've got a nice stone bead there, and then some ribbons and trims and torn fabric from some of the fabric used in the journal, and everything done to be color coordinated and make a beautiful presentation. So I'm going to take this off for now. This is all tied to a little clasp, so the tassel is removable. It has a self closure, and this is from fabric that was used in the journal. So we open it up, and here is my opening spread. I now have this little label that I've started using where a person could, write the name of the recipient there, and it says, "Love, Miss Darling. The joy of the Lord is my strength." And this is part of a masterboard I made, so is this. And here's one of my custom seals. It has MD on it, obviously standing for Miss Darling. So we will just flip through this. This came together because I had quite a buildup of papers in my stash that I had not used. A lot of times I will print off things, or I will buy something or make something, and it doesn't eventually make its way into a journal. So it just kind of builds up and builds up in my studio here, and periodically I've got to just take a whole bunch of that, see if I can put some rhyme or reason to them and use them up. And so that's what I'm doing here. Here's a little bird from one of my bird books. And you're just going to see imagery of nature, a lot of birds, some gardens, flowers. Got some music going on. Here's a envelope that I made. It's one of the jumbo envelopes, and I attached it with a piece of fabric, and I decorate both sides because you flip them out, and so it makes a nice surprise. You see, when you may have something that you didn't think was appropriate for something else you were doing, but then you come along with a theme that where it's just right at home and looks great. Butterflies and flowers, more birds. Here's one of the scrolled pockets that I have a video on that I came up with, and inside we've got a bookmark and a tag. There's actually 2 places to stick something. This is I think a bookmark. Oh, there's 2 there. So, aren't those great? I guess this is winding up being a little bit more about birds and gardens. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I just, the theme is wide open, and the color palette is very beautiful. And so here's the center spread of Signature 1. And so what I did is I put 2 jumbo envelopes so they face each other, and you can flip them both out, and you've got, a 4 spread. Now that was a fun idea. Here's a cluster. Another cluster there. Again, using up imagery that I've had for a long time that has not felt appropriate until now. A cluster. This is some of my circular clusters. Here's another one of the scrolled pockets, and I have another bookmark here and a tag here. Yeah, I guess as I got into this, I certainly got away from gardens, didn't I? And I went full bear on birds, pardon the pun. There's a tag in here. You can stuff these full. They're quite large. Always trying to marry one side with the other. So here I had the tan and black musical paper with this solid blue. And so I brought some of that blue over here, and that just marries them up beautifully. And that's what you want to do whenever possible. Carrying through with my theme. Now we have some ducks in the pond. More birds. Here's a card that is attached with a paper clip, not glued on. This was one of these cards in the deck of cards that I decorated some while ago. I have a video on what I did with the entire deck of cards. These are jumbo playing cards, so they're really fun to use, and had a lot of fun making those. And now we're at the in-between spot of the 2 signatures. Here's the end of Signature 1 and the beginning of Signature 2. And inside this, I tucked this travel journal that features Paris. I've got some vintage-looking paper in here. It is not actually vintage paper, just made to look like that. And so, yeah, easy to make, and using some scrapbook paper from Tim Holtz, and adding a little dangle there with the bird. And so that I just tucked in the middle there. And so now we'll start on Signature 2 and just breeze through this quickly. Another really big jumbo envelope that flips out. I have this large book of birds, and so it was just real easy to pull out pages from there and fold them in half and just go to town making jumbo envelopes. Another scrolled pocket with a tag and a kitty and another bird bookmark. another envelope to pull out into a giant pocket, I guess. I'm calling them envelopes, but they're also pockets. Got a tag in there, and then this is a small little envelope I made out of smaller paper and had in my stash, so I thought he should go in there. So you can see there's a lot of variety in here, and just have fun and use up what you have. Another pocket that flips out. Here's the center of this signature, and I just put 2 of my round clusters that coordinate with each other on there, and that took care of that and left it wide open for journaling. If you use duplications, not the exact same thing, but the same idea, if you use them in your first signature and then you use something very similar to it in the second signature, that adds unity to your entire journal, and I like doing that a lot. So repetition is good. I'm always repeating, but they're not exact duplicates. They just look like they are, but the images are always different. Here's the other playing card. Here's the black 3. And that's just paper clipped there. And this is the last of the scrolled pockets with another bookmark. And another tag. So it's a great way to use up supplies that you have that look great, they're beautiful, they're just wonderful. They just didn't happen to find a home yet. And when you start looking for things to go together, you'll be amazed at how much you probably have on hand. And here is the last jumbo envelope that flips out into this. And here's a little wallet that I made a while ago. I think I have a video on this where you take and make a little place, a little wallet to carry. It's big enough to put a credit card in there and some cash, a driver's license, and walk around with something in your pocket that is not only functional but very cool as well. So that made it in here, and now we're finishing up and coming to the last page. Love all the birds. I see how my color scheme has remained fairly constant and different. There's a lot of variety here, and yet there's a lot of unity as well. And then we come to the end of the journal. So that's it for this round, and I appreciate you being here and sticking with me to the end so much. Please give the video a like and a comment if you found it helpful to you in any way. Please let me know. It encourages me to keep making videos. Anyway, remember to visit my Etsy shop. I have a lot of new kits there that might be very helpful to you, that are certainly based on a lot of recent videos that I've done. And that said, this is Miss Darling calling this a wrap. Bye-bye.